Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Sunday Messages. And I want to get this out to you as soon as I record it because this is somewhat of a timely message, but the way that I would like my content to be from here on out is, even though I'm doing an energetic update, an energetic forecast for right now, the message itself will be timeless. So this is something that you will be able to use at any time if you need to reference this material or if you found it helpful or find yourself in this energy again later. That's how I want these to work for you and make them so that it's like a tool you can tap into or a reminder that you can tap into at any point in time. Now, the energy that I am picking up from the collective and pretty much everyone who's in my orbit, including myself, is the energy of waffling, wishy-washiness, uncertainty, and basically all of the old shit getting drudged up again and getting confronted again. So I've been watching and hearing the exact same story from friends, from people who are in groups that I'm a part of, from people that I work with. Just everyone has been saying the same thing where they'll get a fleck of confidence and excitement and motivation, and then it's immediately followed up with distortions, fears, anxieties, all of the old stuff that they thought they've already worked through. And it's happening like that for people in cycles where they'll feel good and then all of a sudden it'll fall flat or they'll feel bad again. If we could call it that, they'll feel defeated again, uncertain. They slip back into, I don't know, am I going crazy? Is this the right move for me? It's a lot of questioning. It's a lot of ungrounded energy. And I do think that part of this is kind of the season that we're in energetically. Like, this is the collective Pisces, anything is possible for good and bad kind of energy pattern that I'm seeing people work through right now. Now, in my personal experience, the way this has been showing up for me is with a really intense experience of doubt and like I'm doing things wrong, which is very strange. These are really old things that I thought I've already shifted out. I've already moved through this stuff. What's the point in them coming up again? And a lot of it has to do with the expansion that I'm in right now, right? The moves where I'm aiming at is much different than anything I've ever done before. So, of course, this is going to wake up new layers of residue, and it's going to bring up things that I thought I'd already worked through just from previous experiences that I've had that have been similar in terms of getting constant upgrades. And it's very similar to at each new level or each new purchase or each new upgrade around money. One of the things that is pretty persistent and consistent for a lot of people who have this wound is the thought. Remember, it's just a thought. It's not necessarily reflective of the reality that you're creating, but the thought of what if money runs out? What if this time I fail? What if this is the move that I make where everything bottoms out? What if this is the time that I end up spending myself into poverty? What if this is the time that I can't keep up with this level of rent even though I've paid my rent my entire life, right? That repetitive story of what if I'm not supported is a sticky one. So it likes to come up at every layer. Now, if you're not dealing with that, or that's not something that you personally find coming up again and again, you might have a variation of that story. Maybe it's just about failure or making a mistake or something along those lines where it's just the fear of the uncomfortable feelings that are rising within you, or the potential for, well, what if? And then cue the bad feelings that would come along with whatever your brain is telling you. And the main thing that I would invite you to experiment with during this time is really focusing on daily maintenance. So let's say that every day is going to bring a new thing to work through, even if it's small, even if it's minor, or even if you don't feel that you really have a lot to work through. Let's just say that every day there was something for you to make a subtle adjustment on, or a subtle tweak, or a little bit of energetic fragments that you're trying to move out of your system. Perhaps some densities that are still lodged in your system that you want to move out, create more levity, create more trust, create more freedom and liberation, right? That movement in the body, energetically and physically. That is a daily practice. This is a game of maintenance. So wherever you are at in your current experience, if you get away from the idea of life being like a light switch, where, oh, today's a good day, and now I've finally nailed it, and so now the light switch is on, and it's going to stay on for the rest of my life, or that there's going to be that one point in time with that one manifestation, and then all of your problems go away. That is a fantasy. That is a mirage. That is not real. There is no destination like that, because if that were true, you wouldn't need to be embodied. You just wouldn't need to be here, because that would indicate that there's no evolution to be had. There's no growth to come. There's no experiences or surprises or obstacles in your hero's journey, in the soul's journey. And so if you are looking at the present moment as, well, I'm experiencing uncomfortable feelings right now, or I'm in despair, or I'm having a really hard time right now, and as a result of that, you're kind of taking yourself out of the running for the desire, or you're saying to yourself that because the discomfort is there, that somehow that is having a negative impact on your desires, you are missing the point. You are really, really missing the point here. Because in my experience, and in pretty much everyone that I work with, there are different things to tend to at every level. So that piece of you needing to maintain, move your energy, make some adjustments, that is required of you at every level. There's always an opportunity to make a tweak or an adjustment and find yourself in deeper pleasure or deeper abundance or deeper love. Right? That's infinite and never stops. And therefore, the way that you're moving your energy also has infinite potential for you to adjust in a way that's congruent with the desire. So that never, ever stops. So if you are in a really dark place in your life, the same daily maintenance that is going to shift you out of that darkness is going to be the same type of daily maintenance, or I'm talking exclusively about the daily maintenance piece, even though it might look differently. So the daily maintenance is still required even if you're a multimillionaire, even if you're making high-level moves with lots and lots of money. There are still going to be emotional and mental pieces to reorganize and resituate in that experience as well. So this is not the time to start looking at the discomforts of your life, to start looking at the adjustments that you need to make as an indication that you're doing something wrong or you're not getting it. Because that's the piece that is consistent no matter how much love you have, no matter how much money you have, no matter what you create. There's always going to be a need for you to address yourself, your different bodies on the daily. I like to think about energy, like the energy that you have within your body, as being water. So you can imagine that if you were stagnant, let's say you just got to a point where, all of your problems were gone, nothing really changed, it was just you existing with needs met. And if you weren't tending to yourself, if you weren't growing, if you weren't really in a lot of circulation, then the water within your energetic body, right, that watery substance, would become stagnant. It would attract mosquitoes and like different algae and like bottom feeder fish, right? It would start to look really nasty if you just had stagnant water and were simply existing. What gives you life? What makes life worth living is the experience of growth and transformation and the contrast. That's part of the agreement that you make when you have a 3D body. When you enter this plane, part of the agreements of being on this plane is pain, is discomfort, because this is what shapes your evolution as you're moving forward. This is what gives you the experience of life itself. And if you can allow this to be something that coexists with your creations and with your manifestations and with life getting better, you're not going to make the emotional blips and the insecurities that arise and the challenges that you're faced with, you're not going to look at them as being things that are in your way, but rather an opportunity to maintain your energetic system, or an opportunity to heal, an opportunity to connect with source deeper. Every element of this, no matter what stage you're in, is an opportunity for the next level you, the next manifestation, the next creation. But too often we fold as soon as we have discomfort on the heels of something going well. But the thing is, the discomfort is not a signal to fold. It's not an indication to stop. It's just not. It's an indication to circulate, maintain, and get into practice. That's what it indicates. That's what we're all doing here. And the more that you can get away from this mirage idea that a singular manifestation is going to be the remedy to all your other problems, or that discomfort is going to cease to exist, when you get away from that, life is going to start getting really good. Because you're not going to see yourself as being far off the mark. You're going to see yourself as, I'm on the right track and I'm in the right place. And I just need to make some adjustments, make some tweaks, bust out the tools that I have that I know work for me. And if you don't know, I am hosting Ethereal Anatomy. I'm running that class at the end of the month. And essentially, it's diving deeper into the energetic bodies, into the systems that exist within you, and how to maintain them on the daily. Like, okay, that's great. You have an emotional body, but what do you do with it? Or, okay, we have a physical body, but where does this part come in? Or, okay, there's this astral body thing, but how am I supposed to work with this? So it's really about working with your ethereal anatomy. And it's gonna go way, way, way deep into the maintenance tools, working with the different bodies, working with your system, and all of that good stuff, just because this is so needed for people. Especially if you're into chakras. This is my version of like a class on energetics and chakra systems. So that is available if you want to go deeper on this. And for many of you, the point is you need to go to your tools. Too often do we get distracted by the story that's associated with the discomfort, with the thought, with the pain that's coming up. We create a story around it. The ego judges that. It says that's bad. You shouldn't be having that discomfort. You shouldn't be feeling that way. You shouldn't have any problems. All of the people who are getting shit done and making things happen, they don't have any problems at all. What are you doing? That's what it's going to tell you a lot of the time, is that there's something uniquely special and wrong with you for having pains and distortions and fears and emotions and feelings and thoughts about things that don't feel good. And I'm just here to tell you that your ego is a dirty liar. It's a filthy liar, and it doesn't know what it's talking about. And so you have to be skeptical of confusing discomfort with I'm doing something wrong. Now, there are some cases where, yeah, if you're doing something that you know isn't good for you, and then you touch that hot stove and it hurts, well, of course, pain can be a signal to pivot and make a change, but more often than not, that's to get your attention. But when it comes to daily maintenance, like little pesky thoughts, little pesky feelings, or they might feel really big, but it's just working with the feelings that you have, moving that is the key. That is the key, is bringing circulation into the mix. I cannot tell you how essential this is. And for a lot of you, you probably either journal, or maybe you work out, or maybe you have like a hobby that you really like to tap back into feeling grounded. So whatever your specific tools are, any of them, breath work, screaming into a pillow is a good example of like getting some energy out and moving. I mean, I have a laundry list of tools that I that I have for myself and my clients and everything. But whatever it is, whatever you like to do for your tools, whatever you use for yourself, this is a signal to use them, drop into them, bust them all out. This is the time to use them. That is what I'm seeing with everyone's energy right now, at least in my orbit, right? If you listen to a different practitioner, they're probably going to be tuned into a different energetic field. This is just the one that I'm seeing really consistently with people. So you might find yourself in that realm as well. But bust them out, get to it, move your energy. More than likely, unless it's a pattern that you know you're doing something that isn't good for you and your soul is screaming you to make a change, if you're not dealing with that, then you want to go to maintenance. You want to go to what are the basics that you've forgotten? What are the silly tools that you think don't make that big of a deal but really, really do? That's where you want to start flipping rocks over, start paying attention to that, because it's going to be really, really helpful for many of you. Now, as for an energy forecast regarding this whole situation, I'm going to tell you what I'm getting intuitively, and then I'm going to supplement with a couple of cards. So the first thing that I'm getting intuitively when I was in meditation is that there's somewhat of a groundswell happening. So the pressure is building underneath the surface, and there's a lot of movement that's happening underneath the surface. But if you're not seeing it full stop in this moment, that's not bad. You're not doing anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. This is a groundswell. So there is a lot of movement that is happening and taking place in between the time when you're feeling that and you're organizing your energy to be in alignment with what you want, and the time where you actually see something come to fruition. That's the roller coaster that you have to get good at riding. That's where your ego is going to say things aren't moving fast enough, you're not doing good enough, you're this, you're that, judgment, right? It's going to be going batshit in between that time where you've made the declaration and now you're in receiving mode. You're actually seeing the fruits of your labor. So this is where we're at. We're in this point in between. And again, I'm not saying this for you to get into deeper creation of a holding period. No. It's actually to pivot you into anchoring into maintenance being the key to getting your energy on board with the desire, so that when it comes, you're in alignment with it. There's no waiting. You're not waiting. You're aligning, you're moving pieces, you're getting everything on board so that when things start pouring in, you're not missing them or blind to them. So this is all in service of you, as everything is. But understand, it's a groundswell. So things will be opening up, things will be more visible soon. I know everyone hates that word, but it's continue moving forward as if that's the expectation and that's what's going to happen. The follow-up question being, What are you doing with your energy in the meantime? Okay, let me pull some cards for what's oncoming with this. What's the forecast, people? Ooh, yes, I actually like this. I know not everyone's a fan of the Tower, but this is exactly what is needed right now. And then you have the Wheel of Fortune. And then you also have Justice. So it's exactly like the scales are balancing, right? So all of the energy that you've put in, that energy goes somewhere. It doesn't just get destroyed when you're pouring energy into a desire. So you can trust that the outcome is justice. It's that truth, reciprocation, clarity, highest good outcome. That's the nice part of the Justice card, is it's like you get exactly what you need. Like wherever your soul is meant to be next is exactly what you're going to receive. So you can relax around that. There's no need to force or push anything. That's what the Wheel of Fortune is highlighting. But with the Tower, this is like any stale energy that you've been dealing with, or if you're feeling like life isn't really that inspiring to you and it's just a little bit drab and dull right now, oh man, it is going to get spicy here shortly. It is big moves, big mix up. This is like pleasant surprises. I know everyone associates the Tower with like destruction, but the thing with this energy is if you're in a stagnant period, or if you're in like this liminal space where there's not a lot happening or going on, you kind of want that Tower to come in and shake things up. So this is helping you to break through to exciting things. The Tower in this context, in this reading, is really coming through as the excitement that you've been craving, or the flavor, the spice, the essence that kind of reinvigorates you and gives you that jolt of momentum, like, oh, right, this is what I'm here doing. This is what I'm here for. This is the part that makes it all worth it. The Wheel of Fortune is just a reminder to let God pleasantly surprise you. Because the Wheel of Fortune is like you're kind of blind to what's around the corner, but something big is getting shaken up and it's exactly what you deserve. Like, think about all of the effort, all of the alignment, all of the work you've done, right? And by work, I'm not talking about efforting per se, but it's all of the internal shifts that you've been making. And that's what's coming out on the other side of this. So let yourself be pleasantly surprised. Let the universe hold you. Let it be a glamorous experience. You set the tone for that. I'm just getting a lot of people are feeling very placated, I suppose, or like they're not having a whole lot of momentum. So I think whatever this Tower is just like a lightning bolt of action, and it's going to create more inspiration in your life. So hold the energy of this being something that excites you, that inspires you, that expands you, that feels really juicy and fun. I'm getting like a carnival imagery. Like, oh, we get to go to this awesome amusement park, or this party, or this carnival. That's the energy of it. It's like the party you've been trying to make your way to. So enjoy that, have fun with it. Just do your best to enjoy this ride that you're on. And the last message that I'm getting for some people who need to hear it, I think it's probably a smaller portion of you, but the message coming through is forget what you think you need. So if you have an iron grip on something and you're like, it has to be this way or else I'm gonna die, you have to loosen your grip around that and allow room and space for things to be better than you imagine. Let there be some breathing room for things to be better and better and better than what your brain is limiting you to. Because any idea of if it's this or nothing, you're actually getting in the way of something that's even greater than what you've conceived of. So beware if you're falling into that trap, if you're not letting there be at least a little bit of breathing room or for you to be open to something better. Keep that in mind. This or something better. That is key. Let's pull some Sovereign Oracle cards. I think I'm just going to pull 2 of these. Okay, refine. A tweak is needed. Don't start over just yet. Yes, exactly. That is what this entire podcast was about. Do not start over. Just make little tweaks during the day. That's all you need to do. Consider partnering with a gifted editor or mentor. A new level of mastery is calling to you. So there's big stuff that you're mastering, whether you be in a lot of pain or you be in a lot of pleasure. Whichever point you're at, there's mastery here for you. And then you have birth. Find your sacred creative womb space, whether it's time, tools, or literal space. Seek the appropriate midwife. Trust the process. All will be revealed in due time. And there we have it. All will be revealed in due time. You don't need to push for information. That's the main thing that I'm getting here with this birth card. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to try so hard. You can relax a little bit and give it maybe less energy, maybe pull back a little bit and just work on yourself, work on your own alignment. Take the energy that you're using to force outward and see if you can reorganize some pieces within yourself and if that makes a bigger difference. So focus on the feminine with this and see how that works for you. All right, my friends, that is all for today. But don't forget, if you want to get into the Mystery Collective, that is open through the end of March. If you need a payment plan, you just have to get on a payment plan before the end of March. Cosmic Council Money Masters is also available if you are looking to be in a 6-week container with me. It's an absolute blast. It's so much fun. We had a great time last time I ran this program, and it's just a lot of fun. We spend every week working with different guides and different energies, and there's going to be guide-specific homework that you use each week, and it's going to be awesome. So I included some extra money guides for this next round, so that'll be a lot of fun as well if you're looking to get more guidance on that particular area of your life. And the other thing is Ethereal Anatomy. If you want to get into Ethereal Anatomy, that starts on the 24th of this month. So I'm just giving you a heads up. That is something that if you're curious about working with your energetic systems more, if you want to know more about working with the mental body, the emotional body, your chakra system, if you want to understand how to work with these different parts of yourself, your ego, your inner child, your higher self, all of that is what we're going to be going into so that you can get tools to navigate them with ease on a regular basis, not overcomplicating anything, but keeping it really so that you understand the mechanics, you understand what's happening within yourself, and just really anchoring into these tools that you're going to have, because I feel like they're so needed. So it's great if you're an empath. I definitely recommend it if you struggle with like picking up the energy of other people. This is definitely something that you're going to want to get into. So that is all that I have for today. You beautiful people, have an amazing, amazing rest of your week, and I will talk to you next time. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.